Hey you guys, welcome back. I am so excited for the sunshine right now. You have absolutely no idea. I'm going to try not to go in it, but man, this girl just wants some vitamin D. Right now, we are in the thick of January. In February, we're actually going on a little trip, so I'm super excited about that. But anyways, let's get into a little bit of a different topic. There's so much stuff that we talk about on this channel, but it got me thinking that I actually don't talk about what I've been through in terms of being a business owner, being a mom, and trying to juggle all that. I'm about to be 43 years old and I'm at a totally different phase of my life than I was 10 years ago. I was kind of going through all my stuff and getting divorced. And even when I started this channel, which I think is now 7 years, which is so crazy that I've been doing this for 7 years. But I think it's important to evolve and talk about the things that you go through, that you're struggling with. So today I want to talk about sensory overload because let's be honest, being a mom, being a business owner, being a worker, being highly sensitive, you're going to get stimulated. And you have to understand, first off, how you get overstimulated, in what ways, what to do about it. Because I think sometimes us as women, especially moms, especially when we're working, we're like, why are we tired? And it's what do you mean? Why are you tired, sweetie? Why all of a sudden are you being completely cranky? What do you mean? Are you overstimulated? Are you stressed? There are so many women that I follow on social media, and I'm one included, where I see them in their stories and I see them with their kids, and we're talking about the real ones that can just be completely honest and they're not just always painting this sunshine and rainbows every single day. We already have enough of that on social media. Can we please just be honest with each other to say today was a hard day. The kid threw a tantrum, I spilled coffee all over myself, I was late to work, I have so much going on with work right now. This lady in my office was being mean to me. The kids are teenagers and they came home late last night and I can't do and again, we haven't even talked about relationships. I'm just talking about being a mom and being a business owner and being a worker and all of that. So if you're wondering why you're completely stressed out of your mind, I'm going to give you all the reasons why you're overloaded and feeling overwhelmed. If I am in a place where there are loud noises, and let's just start with I already have a lack of sleep. So if I didn't sleep well the night before, which I usually don't sleep very well at all because I'm such a light sleeper. So it's hard for me to go into a deep sleep, which means I'm already going to feel a little sleep deprived because I just didn't get good quality sleep. I have tried everything under the sun, and I think that's just how I'm built. I've always been this way, even before I was a mom. So I think it's just part of who Steph is. So now you're already slightly sleep deprived, and then you go somewhere or you're with your kids, no matter what age, and they're in the car and you're driving them to basketball practice, you're taking the little ones to the zoo, they're in the house playing in the playroom, and it's just so incredibly loud. I'm talking about banging on the drums, in the back seat. I know that when the three boys are in the back seat, we got a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 9-year-old, 3 boys at that age. You would think oh, look, they're going to be so quiet. No, they have testosterone on another level. We're talking yelling and screaming and weird random outbursts. And it's just boys being boys. But for mom, no matter if I'm driving or if I'm in the passenger seat, it's a little overwhelming. It's a little overwhelming at times. The next one for me is bright lights. And I don't mean this kind of light, even though the sun's going in and out today, but I'm talking about those fluorescent lights, the Walmart light, the Target light, the mall light, that really, really annoying light. Sometimes even in your office, those lights. So everywhere in my house, when I bought my house, I put dimmers in everywhere. I always need soft, dim lighting. So bright lights, no, that is just going to, for me, it's going to actually just give me a headache because it's just an overpowering, overwhelming sensation that I just can't take. So if you're a mom, welcome to crowded places, because guess what? Every time you want to take your kid to the amusement park, to the science museum, to the aquarium, to the Sesame Street show, to the basketball game or whatever, we're talking about crowds. And now when we're in crowds, we're getting everything. We're getting the loud, we're getting the light, we're getting all the stimulation that could possibly be happening. I mean, I can get overstimulated in Target when I go down, or a grocery store when I go down an aisle. The minute I go down an aisle and I'm and I see the amount of options that are there, does that overstimulate you? Because that literally overstimulates me. I'm like, okay, I'm a mom. I already don't have enough time in the day. Can I just figure out how to do this like quickly instead of having all these 50 million options like right in front of me? And then of course, you get the cart and you're trying to go through the aisles like Market Basket. No, I don't know what you guys have for grocery stores, but like here in Mass, we have like Stop and Shop, Shaw's. You can do your grocery shopping at like Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, and then we have like Market Basket, which is just basically like a cheaper version. That grocery store, I don't care what time of the day you go. You could go on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning and it is crazy. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the same as like a Saturday afternoon, but you best believe I am never going anywhere on a Saturday afternoon to do my grocery shopping. I've never really been a person that was sensitive to like textures and smells. So some people really have that kind of sensitivity where like a real predominant smell, like it just really makes them feel horrible. Or a texture person. Ryan actually has this where he has like a little blanket, or he'll take like a corner of something. Usually it's on like his blankie because he still has it. And he just like kind of like rubs it, and that's his way of like really self-soothing himself. But I never had like anything where I felt like just flickering something or touching something would like kind of soothe me or calm me down, but I know a lot of people do. Those crowded places that we sometimes have to go to with our kids, or even if we're by ourselves and, we're already stressed from work, we're already completely exhausted from putting in a full day. And now all of a sudden you got to drive in traffic during rush hour to the basketball game, or you got to rush to pick your kid up from daycare, or, you were with your kid all day at, you did your Target run and then you went to the zoo and it's all these other moms doing the same thing. Like, it's no joke, a lot of work to do what you do. So I want you to understand that everything I'm talking about right now, like, let's think about this for a second. We got bright lights, we got loud noises. I mean, loud noises and kids is just like, they go just hand in hand. So that's definitely going to happen. Then you have Saturday afternoons where you're trying to just like either get the kids out of the house, get yourself out of the house, or you're exhausted from work and you're already sleep deprived, and now you got to go, drive an hour to this baseball game, or you got to do then you got to make dinner, then you got to plan dinner, then you got to go to the grocery store where it's like crazy bright and completely overwhelming. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So my point in all of this is, this is why you're absolutely exhausted, first of all, and why you're probably stressed. But for me, I always think about like, what are the cheat sheets that I can have in life? Like, where can I get help? So maybe instead of like going through rush hour myself to bring him to basketball, I'll ask one of my mom friends to bring Ryan and her son. And then next week I'll bring them. Then maybe instead of going to the grocery store, what I always do is, I'm sorry, but I do delivery service like a lot of times, because it's just easier for me to go online and do that. And maybe I'll go pick it up, or maybe I'll have it delivered to the house. It's just so much easier as a mom, as a business owner, as someone who works more than full time, because I'm always on. So you kind of have to find like what works for you. If we go to the zoo or we go somewhere and it is overstimulating, you best believe that mom's going to need to eat before, I'm going to need to rest before, I'm going to need quiet before. And obviously, depending on the age of the child, it depends on what you're going to get. Like when Ryan was 2 and 3 and 1, like I couldn't say, hey, I need 20 minutes of silence. But he also went to bed at like, 6 o'clock. So from 6 to whatever, that was my Zen time. Every night I would do the same things to like help myself to recharge my batteries to get ready for the next day. You have to learn how to take care of yourself first. I think one of my vices right now that I really need to be more disciplined with, that I know for sure has been affecting my sleep, I mean, so many things. I think by even like my ADHD, which I never really thought I had, but definitely feel like I have it now, is all about the phone. Like the fact that we're scrolling and like we're looking, and sometimes I'll convince myself that I'm working, but then I'll get distracted because that little voice will go, oh, let's just go over here and do this. So being more disciplined with even that is a huge thing that I know that I have to work on, because that causes overstimulation. Like if you're highly sensitive, and you just got way too much going on and you're already on the verge of being stressed, and you feel like, oh, this is my relaxing time. Well, it's not really, because if you're sitting in bed and it's kind of dark in your room ish, and you got this bright phone in your face and you're just scrolling and you're just looking at like all these things, overstimulation, and then you're not going to be able to go to sleep. So these are kind of the things that personally I know that I've struggled with, and the things that make me way overstimulated. And for me, it's all about learning how to just take better care of myself. So I know I need to be super mindful of what are the things that I'm doing right now that are hurting me, what are the things that I feel at this point in my life overwhelm me, and finding the balance between, am I using that experience of that situation that overwhelms me as kind of like a cop out, or should I make some moves to kind of change things around to help myself so I don't overstimulate myself, so I am taking better care of myself. And I can't imagine that this doesn't work for everyone, but the minute I start slowing down, and look, I have found that I thought that the older he was going to get, I don't want to say the more I would slow down, like I knew that wasn't going to happen, but I didn't think I would still feel as overwhelmed at times as I do now that he's 10. Like when he was like 1, 2, 3, all of those really, really young ages, I was always overwhelmed because he was so little, and I was starting a business at the time. But I didn't put as much pressure on myself at that point in my life. I kind of like resorted back to, okay, I'm just gonna like give in to this. Whereas like now, because I have my business and I love what I do and I want to be this great mom, it's very, very easy to get overwhelmed because you're trying to balance too many things at once. And then when the loud noises start, they were already going to overwhelm you, and now it's like multiplied times 10. So learning how to disconnect, learning how to have a hobby that's actually healthy, learning how to take better care of myself, learning how to shut down, learning how to not give myself guilt, learning how to be honest with other people and accept myself for who I am and not feel guilty that mom needs a minute, because I can finally ask all the boys or ask my partner, like, hey, I need 20 minutes to just go sit in bed and just look out the window. That feels amazing sometimes. So I hope this information helped you. I hoped you really understood that there are just going to be times where you are going to get overwhelmed, or you're going to get overstimulated, or there's going to be too much going on, but you have to be able to take a step back and go, all right, I need to reassess, like, what do I need to be doing now to take the best care of myself, to like recharge those batteries? And if you needed anyone to tell you today, you're doing a great job.